know, you're not limited to one. It's not one thing you gotta make. So you could just create and put it out there because whatever you're trying to do is gonna resonate with whoever needs to get it anyways. So um I think fine being picky on all the details and all that stuff, especially early on, like when sometimes just the message is the most important, and however way you can deliver that message, you just kind of move from there versus you just putting something out there or you putting all this time into something and then it doesn't get the gratification excuse me, that you're hoping for, and then so that ends up going to somebody else. Um, for sure. Word. So, man, y'all ever just gone through periods of your life where it just feels like it's it's not that necessarily things are going bad in your circle or like in necessarily your life, but everything else around you is like hectic and chaotic and there's just shit going left and right and all around and it's like a tornado came around type shit. But like, like existing within peace when there's so much stuff around you, that's like a big part of like, remaining calm in a storm. And if you can relate to that, then definitely can relate to something that I've been dealing with over the last like uh really strong the last like month and a half. There's been a lot of resistance in my life just with like trying to get things done, want to do this, want to do that. Um and not to say it's bad resistance, but I think even when you're on the path that I am, like trying to, be self-employed and like, figuring things out as you go, you're gonna run into resistance. I think when you're doing anything that you're uncomfortable with, you're gonna hit that resistance where it's like, damn, like I want to go do this, but I didn't realize that it was gonna be 10 other steps. It's not as easy as just like walking through the door. I gotta kind of like pick the lock and shit right now. Like uh, I don't know if that's a good analogy, but sometimes just getting in through the door sometimes is a hassle in itself. Or you ever play any of the damn Mario games where I gotta go get 30 stars before I get into this door, and I'm over here thinking I was about to be able to just like boom, I found I got access to this whole side of the kingdom. So now I'm trying to get in through the door. Now they're trying to say I need 35 stars. So I'm like, damn. Well, I only got 20 stars. Where I'm gonna get the other 15 from? So you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like searching and shit like that. And I think that's a pretty good sign that you're heading in the right direction. I think when you're facing all that resistance, then I think you just have to use discernment where that resistance is coming from, and you gotta be able to decide like, okay, I gotta keep on pushing. This is something good. I can keep on pushing. Like sometimes you're just pushing through like webs and shit, but other times you're just running into a fucking brick wall. So you definitely gotta uh you use discernment when it comes to things like that. But that was a good way for me to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Ordinary People podcast. Uh, Usually, you see the couch and everything back there right now, but I decided to shift the angle up a little bit so we can just kind of vibe out on top right now. Just wanted to be a little more comfortable. But also, I've actually been consuming a lot more YouTube content and stuff like that. And this is also kind of a cool little vibe to kind of sit and talk with as well, especially depending on the kind of messages you like to give. It's still an Ordinary People podcast, but we got the turf talk, we got this angle, we got that angle. So like I said, the most important thing is just the message. And we get the message out, then we can kind of move from there. So, that's why I was just introducing the topic talking about. We're just talking about, you know, reporting live from the storm, really like uh I'm just here to tell y'all that like, just cause shit is not exactly going how you want it to go right now, or the pace is not like as fast as you think it should be. Um, you just gotta just stay focused and keep going, and shit always gonna work out. You just gotta have faith in God, baby, for real. And that's another thing too, is that I've been, I think, really like growing and taking time to like dive into stuff a little bit more spiritually lately, and definitely made a huge difference in just my outlook on uh I mean, just like I guess like the direction that I'm heading with just doing business. I think that like, I mean, I never expected it to be easy, nor that I asked for easy, but um sometimes you're like, dang, like I said, like you facing resistance in places where you're like, why? But it's just taking shit as it comes, and really it's like a huge growing experience, like being able like to learn from everything that I'm going through, and really just being grateful that I can take the time to actually even do this stuff while I'm doing it. So definitely a super great experience that has been so far for me. I guess time back into growing spiritually and stuff like that. I ran into a Bible verse lately, and it was I'm gonna have to find it for you guys real quick. Okay, so I ran into I think I was just like swiping through Instagram. I usually try and like, it's actually a good way to proceed this conversation. So uh like, I'm somebody, like, I'm very like mindful in the content I consume. I don't really like uh and I use like Twitter. I might use Twitter just for like funny stuff, or just like, I separate all my funny stuff over here. And I tend to like do pretty well. Like I like looking at visual things sometimes for inspiration. So Instagram, I kind of like try and make sure I can cater my algorithm to that. So I don't really have too much like uh funny stuff on my IG. Is mostly gonna be like informational stuff. Either be about like fitness, photography, it's like videography, videographer type shit. Damn, can't say words. And then as well as like, um, sure, like I want to grow spiritually as well. So like, I follow a lot of people who talk about very similar things that I might talk about in this podcast, but as well as like they dive deeper into faith and like dealing with God and like the Bible. And it's always good. Like I'm not somebody who's like always in church, but I'm always like trying to grow like spiritually. And you know, I don't necessarily believe I have to go to church to grow spiritually. And this, as long as I'm surrounding myself around like the people who are gonna lead me closer to God, then I'm finding myself growing and doing well. And I'm always mindful of like that when I'm talking about consumption. I'm always mindful of things I let things that I'm consuming, whether as eating or you know just the world around us. You know what I mean? If that's the appropriate way to say that. But I say that to as a way to talk about my introduction to this Bible verse from Ephesians 6:12, which reads, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." And while I'm still like, learning how to interpret that, as many times I do go over it, I think it's very relevant in my life at the moment, just how it talks about how uh the the things that I think we deal with in his life aren't really just like flesh and blood. I think like when you really look down on things and like take a moment to ponder, there's just deeper meanings and everything. Like I say, there's no such thing as a coincidence. So to me, like when I'm taking things like that, like that kind of just hit me. Like, sometimes you might go through other life thinking like, damn, am I tripping? I know I ain't tripping. Like, you see some shit and you just like, nah, like it just ain't no way. Like I can't. There's just no way I seen what I seen. You know what I mean? And that in a way kind of confirms that for you. Like that lets you know that like, nah, you ain't tripping. You really did see something. So it's it's important to, like I said, like I think discernment is what I say is always important, but like this is like a very real thing that the things that you're dealing with in this world are deeper than just flesh and blood, and it could the when you get upset on the principal matter of things, you may not understand where that comes from, but there's a reason, you know? And even when you feel that feeling in your heart that something ain't right, you know, there's always gonna be little signs and pieces to it. But I just really want to touch on that just real quick because like, man, that shit like the more and more I consume and like, you know, try and just connect with God and just grow spiritually, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things that even the stuff that I've been through in the past. But also just trying to be an entrepreneur, like guiding forward. Sometimes some days you don't really know what your next step is really supposed to be. Sometimes, like you have an idea of the direction you want to go in, but sometimes, like when you're trying to like progress or go forward, sometimes you can't see what's out in front of you. Sometimes, so like that's why I think building anything around God is always going to lead you in the right direction. I feel like, especially I'm learning that a lot right now. You know, I talk about like being a shepherd or training and stuff like that, but like really like taking some time to actually like see where he's guiding me and taking me and just trusting it because shit, if I just decided I was gonna go off and walk my own way, who knows where I end up. So yeah, it's definitely been huge for myself. Uh I got like a couple of, you know, I told you, I mean, I just be rambling on this joint. I feel like if I came here and tried to do a podcast about like one central idea, uh it may be good, but might only be like a couple minutes worth. So I really just try and like get on here and just think about a couple ideas, and then I just pick a topic, and then we just talk with that topic for a little bit, and then we just go on to the next one. I find that that's kind of been like the best way to kind of approach this, at least for me. And then when you get people on here, it's a little bit different for sure. Um, you know, so I've been walking. You know, obviously I'm a dog dad. Got Mondays on lock. My baby girl, German Shepherd, and you know, I really started thinking about it a lot. That like, y'all ever like just pay attention to like dogs' routines. Like, I mean, German Shepherds are really big on routine, so it's perfect for me because she and I we just be locked in our routine. Like, it ain't no problem. We good to go. But like, you know, every morning you watch a dog. Like, first thing they do when they do is they get up and they stretch. Like, and that just kind of got me thinking. Like I don't know about y'all how frequently, like, how often do y'all just get up and stretch at any time throughout the day, let alone after being asleep for 8 hours, laying down, and then getting ready to go to work? Like a lot of us, like our lifestyles are sometimes so fast paced that like we up, shower, you brush your teeth, wash your ass, do what you got to do, get out the house. That we don't even get a chance to stretch, and then so now we don't even stretch. Then we go and sit down for the rest of our day, and with this in this sitting down position, like which is not a natural position for our bodies to be in. Um, that's just it's just bad practice on our bodies, and it just got me thinking about like how like it just curious to see how dogs take care of themselves, you know, and just like I watch it, and it's just interesting because like I mean I'm sure early on there was a lot of things that we learned from our interaction with animals and helping us grow. So you know I think like early cavemen watch how, you know, watch nature around them. It was like, damn, okay, like I mean, at one point we was all learning from one another, and I mean, I think we still are. It's on like how animals love each other and stuff like that, or how they treat each other. Like if you watch, like humans and animals don't behave too differently in terms of things. Obviously, it looks different because we got these opposable thumbs, but and obviously intelligence and all those other factors, but just watching how like how dogs like even like they stretch before they go and leave the house. Like they're not before we go and work, before we even go do anything, Mondays is stretching. Like cause she don't know that we better get active. She understands that anything could probably happen and she should be ready, like, you know, for whatever. Like her livelihood depends on it. And I think if we even just approach that differently, like in the mornings, we just say, let me just take care of myself first. Uh And that's probably why I probably have like falling outs with like, I don't want to say falling outs, but some of my previous employers didn't like me because I always would pick myself first. Anybody knows me, I'm picking myself first 100 times out of 100. You know, not saying I'm always late, but if I'm running late, because I wanted to take the extra 5 to 10 minutes to stretch in the morning, and instead that makes me like 5 minutes late, then I'll just deal with whatever consequences come my way, rather than like, at least I know I'm good. Like I'm trying to. It it takes a lot of faith to live that way, man. Cause you don't like, you're like, damn, like I mean, I live my life in a good way, so I don't really expect anything bad to happen to me. But for some people, they don't feel like they can afford to be 5 minutes late because of whatever, or whatever it may be. Not saying that you should really prioritize your time so you have time to go ahead and do those things. But if you can't, like, prioritize yourself, put yourself first. I don't care. Like, uh, you'll find out very quickly, like, if you passed away or God forbid anything happened to you, you will be replaced very quickly. And it don't matter what position you're at, they will replace you. You know what I mean? Like, somebody is next man up, when you're working for people, especially like the big time corporations. Like, I mean, I hate for you to, give your life to a job, and then when you're on your deathbed, they act like they don't know you because it's a financial liability. Cause that's a reality. Like it's just business for them. Like, obviously, some people act in good faith, but like prioritizing yourself, like you can't go wrong. Like, I'm 10 times out of 10, I'm picking myself every time because they're not picking you. And so when I talk about like routines and things you wake up in the morning, like for me personally, like my morning routine, like before I even go to the gym, as soon as I wake up, I thank God for waking up. Then I get up, I get a light little stretch in, go take my shower, and I go to the gym. Some people are weird. I don't know. I like to shower before I go to the gym. I don't know how some people feel about that, but I will. Like, I'm gonna shower before the gym and then after the gym. Like, and that might be like shower, go to the gym for an hour 15, hour 30, come back and then take another shower. Like, that's just how we operate. Like, but it's just kind of routine. I like taking a little shower in the morning. Like, it's not like a full on deep shower and shit, but it's enough for sure. It's not just splashing water either, but uh it's a good, like, I like just letting the water warm me up and just get me going for the day for sure. If you haven't tried it, man, try it. Fuck the water bill. You make the money. You know what I mean? Like, the way I see it is that, like, if you take care of yourself, and like a lot of people, like, uh they I mean, I ain't gonna lie. People, you need money, bro. Like, you need you need money to function in this society, right? It's not everything, but it's important, and you can sit here and act like it's not. But like, if you want to like you simply by taking care of your health, you're inadvertently creating more opportunities for yourself to make money. Uh, it may not seem like you have the time to do it right now, but the thing is, like, the sooner you start making healthier decisions for yourself and your health, then you'll just make better decisions all around, and those better decisions create better opportunities for yourself. And we might not see the you might not see how just going to the gym could literally do that for you, but like, imagine a world where you don't go to the gym at all. Now all of a sudden, that's the most important thing on your schedule now. Like, I mean, obviously you got families and other obligations, but we're talking relative to yourself and like not anybody else involved. The most important thing you can do is take care of yourself. Honestly, that should be the number one priority no matter what. Because if you good, then everybody else around you gonna be good. So uh it's just, to me, that's just the easiest way to, if you want to help a lot of people, help yourself first. You know what I mean? A lot of times, like, you go helping people and not getting nothing in return, then now when you need something, nobody's there for you. So you gotta make sure you take care of yourself, and then you can help people. But if you yourself aren't good, you shouldn't be giving up anything. I'm not saying you can't like help people and be charitable, but like take care of yourself first, and then you know help everybody else. Build a boat, and then you know invite people onto the boat. If you really want to save some people, um, that's just my thoughts on that, though. I mean, some people might call you a narcissist, some people might call you selfish, but as long as you know where your heart's at and you keep God at the center of that, I say fuck them. Oh yeah, hey, so we got too much subject for me to talk. I want to talk about I put this probably end up being his own little episode at one point, but we'll still tap on it right now. Let's talk about like music and healing. Man, when I was definitely like, because healing is a journey, and I think when I really started getting on my like healing journey, like I just started running into like a lot of good music that was like, you know, I guess reaffirming, whatever way you want to call it. Like, I think it's just cool. Like when you hear people talk about shit you go through, then or shit they've been through that you can relate to, it kind of brings you like, okay, then I ain't really, I'm not really too far off it, but it's also good to see how other people deal with things. And then like I'm pretty sure I mentioned this either in previous video or to somebody, but in all the time of existence, if you really think you're the only one to ever go through anything, even fucking let's just talk about the Bible. You go into the Bible and you can find somebody who went through something that you went through very similar. But regardless, like it may not be the same exact situation, but the lesson to be learned from your situation is probably very similar to somebody else. So if you're not taking advantage of that and like I saying, like I get it might be a part of the ego thing. People sometimes don't want to help, but if you're willing to like humble yourself and really just accept the message that comes and then using that to better yourself, music has been great for me. And it didn't even really matter the genre of music. Like I mean, big hip hop head, but I mean, I was getting motivation from like Afro beats, listening to like a lot of like Tim's, Coffee, like they was like really really good. I feel like just the music is way better sometimes, and that also kind of made me understand that like uh why people have like why I try and stay away from like worldly music and try to stay a little bit more secular with the music selection, which it makes a lot of sense actually. Like now that I see it though, for sure, because like some of the messages and stuff ain't really conducive to growth, even if it's a YN. And then now what? Nah, but in general, I think like I mean, everybody just like music, man. I think like really like using music to your advantage is great. Like even if like you go to the gym, listen to music, uh I guess I love using it for music. You be on the using something like an up tempo music just to help keep your pace up in the gym. Like you get on the treadmill, like find something with a higher beats per minute, and that's like some people would just use a metronome. I've met somebody when I was in the military, they used a metronome and they would dead ass just going around with a metronome, but it had the, beats per minute so for your footsteps. So it helped her increase her pace. Like it's so many ways that you can use music and just sound in the world that I'm a huge fan of like using that even for healing, meditation purposes. Like uh is I love it. Shit, I'm a huge fan of music. And then I guess last other thing we can end this joint off with is a little message, and it's not really directed to anybody, but I guess it was just on my mind when I was going on a walk the other day. But I just want to say, if you use your weekends as an escape from reality, you might not ever reach your goals. And if you wanna level up, you gotta make sacrifices. I mean, don't you know what those sacrifices are. I could like whatever I have to give up to succeed is gonna be different from the next person and the next person. Uh Whether it be, relationships, drinking, smoking, sex, women, whatever it may be, men, like whatever your vice is, that could be stop. That's gonna stop you from, if you're not moderating, you're not controlling it. That's gonna definitely get in the way of whatever success you're trying to make. Even if your success is related to fitness goals, like you not, those things are gonna hold you back. If you're trying to succeed in the workplace, like you might have to give up sleep, you might have to sacrifice personal connections in the short term just so you can get where you want to get at. But I mean, as long as like whatever you see worth it for, then uh you just can't be afraid to make sacrifices, because I'd be damned if I don't get what I'm trying to get because I'm worried about somebody else's feelings. I know that we gotta try to be mindful of stuff, but I'm not trying to fuck nobody else over. But when I'm trying to get wherever I'm trying to get, I'm not worried about what somebody else got to say. So it's irrelevant to, like, it's just a harder piece to do, but definitely can't worry about opinions. But I would definitely say that the sacrifice has got to be is I think that's like sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent, but it's just something that like I genuinely feel like the reason why some people struggle in the gym or to even like take care of themselves because they don't view whatever at the end of it as something worth getting. Because I feel like anything that, as humans, if we really want something, we usually find a way to get it. And if they might not be, like, you know what I mean? Like if you saying that you want something and you really not getting it, do you really want it? And especially if like it's gonna be sacrifice that is gonna be the thing that's gonna stop you from getting to that next thing. And usually that means sacrificing comfort. If you don't want to, you can't sacrifice comfort, what we gonna do? Like it, you gotta be willing to just be uncomfortable with the shit and maybe live a certain way. Go live out in the wild a little bit and get a taste of the shit, and then you might have to you get a better idea of where you're headed. But yeah, if you're not making no sacrifices, man, I got something on all my fucking nose. He over here picking his nose, y'all. Damn. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. I promise you, like whatever it may be. If you think about joining the military, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. You definitely sacrificing your time. Um, if you wanna follow God closely, you're gonna have to sacrifice probably some relationships. I don't know, like maybe some people who trying to pull you away from God. You know what I mean? Whatever it might be, like usually like all your time is kind of typically filled up with something. Usually, most people, whether it's 90% of YouTube or 6% of IG or whatever, and then 40% of your work or 20% of your family, whatever the percentage it may be, uh, the time is filled up with something. So I think in order to fit the gym in, you're gonna have to subtract percentages, maybe from a couple different places, but until you get where you want to get. But the thing about like I feel like the gym is like it's not like you lock in and you grind a little bit, and then you can kind of get in a place where you just gotta kind of maintain. And the maintaining isn't as hard as really getting to that point. You know what I mean? And that's like as in life. Like I'm sure that like however however hard like you've had to work to get to the point you're at right now, I'm sure it's a hell of a lot easier now just to maintain that life than it was actually getting to that. And you know, the same way when you think about that discomfort that you felt, you just gotta keep on doing that. You gotta find a way to go back to that. You know what I mean? There's a book called Winning by Tim Grover as well. If anybody know me, I've definitely mentioned his book Relentless before. But the this book Winning is it's a very good like what I just said right there. That book really talks about that. Like, all right, you made it. Let's just use a proverbial mountaintop as an example. You made it to the top of the mountaintop. Now you're not really satisfied. You kind of want more. So you still at that mountain peak, but you trying to go to another mountain, top of a bigger mountain. So that means that you gotta start at the bottom of another mountain. But you gotta kind of, in order for you to go from the top of that mountain back down to a bottom one willingly, you have to be able to humble yourself and find new ways to win. Because that same shit that you use to get to this mountain is not gonna work on that next one. You know what I mean? The requirements are steeper. And at a certain point, some people stop at certain mountains and they're satisfied with that. And there's nothing wrong with being that satisfied with whatever success you got. But when you want more, that's when you gotta start like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I might go on to the next mountain because I might go try some shit harder. I might go challenge myself a little bit. That's when that's what that book really like kicks in and it talks about. Uh and you say one who made that book Relentless, and they both like really good books. I love like it's a lot of tenacity in the way he talks about things. And I mean, he used to train like Kobe Bryant, like Michael Jordan, and other professional athletes. So like, I mean, everybody here talk about like the Mamba mentality. That book is just nothing but like that mentality of him, Jordan, all that. Like, being closers, being cleaners. You know, when people need you, or you to break in case emergency button. Like they might as well go ahead and write me the sponsorship for this shit, cause like it's a really good it's really good read. It's good for athletes, but I think anybody who really like who, cause the Mamba mentality, like that shit, there could be a janitor with the Mamba mentality. It's just a mindset. You know what I mean? Uh, it's not only exclusive to basketball players. It's just, I think when you see people in competitive fields, you kind of see that more. But that, being relentless, that mindset that like uh you gonna have to kill me before you take my spot type shit. That's the mindset that these people live by. And honestly, like I be picking up a lot of stuff they be talking about, and I think like that shit really keeps me like locked in, ready to go for real. Like I don't need all these other things to kind of push me and motivate me. It's just like for me, laying at the crib knowing that there's somebody out there probably working just as hard, I'm like, fuck it, I want shit, let's go work, bro. Like, and it's not even it's you use that in the gym. Like, you see somebody working hard, like shit, you think you better outwork me, and not necessarily to that level, but like it pushes you though, because you like, I mean, we here to get some work in. But like, if I go in there, we clocking in, and all these books really just talk about like that and like what it takes. Whether people going on like no sugar diets to just to break the body, it's all like it doesn't really talk about how much stuff they did physically. It's all mental work. And if you see me posting on my IG on the business page, it's the same idea that like everything that you want to do is just a mental. And if you can convince your mind to do it, the body's going to follow. The body might break along the way, but really the body's designed to break. And it's built the design to become more resilient over time after it experiences stress. Just humans, that's how we are. So you just got to put yourself in those situations, and you got to be willing to do it, and understanding that like it's going to hurt. I mean, you might not get injured, and hope you don't get injured, but I'm just saying that like if if you too worried about injury or like being hurt, then like certain things aren't gonna work out for you. So you just gotta kind of clear your mind and just understand that you're going through a safe practice. Not saying that you come train with me, I'm gonna hurt y'all. Just to be clear, like um, we're just talking about the relentless mindset of like chasing things with unapologetically. Um, Because they're your goals. You deserve to reach them, regardless of whoever says what. You know what I mean? It's your life, and if you're not willing to take charge like that, then you're a slave. Like you need to. The only person you should really be following is God. So other than that, you should make your own decisions. If it applies, I don't know. I'll just be rambling. I'll just be kind of talking a little bit, but um, who knows? You might leave that last part out. We might keep it. Who knows? But yeah, man, that was like a little rant because that little piece right there was really only supposed to be like a little bit, but then it got me talking about Tim Grover and being relentless and all these other things. So I'm really chilling. I'm like leaned back in the chair, comfortable, which is a lot better versus how it is when I be kind of on the couch, because the couch kind of it comfortable, but you know we gonna have upgrades soon, And when we upgrade, then we upgrade. But we make do what we got right now. And over here about to fall asleep on y'all because the word is so strong, I guess. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all popping in for another episode, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Show some love to the boy too. Follow me on my Instagram, Nick the Shepherd, and also The Upper Room Fitness. We got the website. We got some merch on there. Did start buying some new merch in here. Gonna start popping it off, showing it off a little bit here soon. But if y'all haven't, man, go check out the website and let me know what y'all think. Other than that, man, I'll see y'all to the next episode. Yes, sir.